We are back from our summer vacation. Welcome to this edition of Feedback. Tonight we're going to give you a little recap of some things that happened over the summer, and you're going to meet one of the new anchors here at TV5. That's all coming up next on Feedback. The strongest thing I've ever had in my life. And welcome to the start of Feedback for this part of 1999. We were on a hiatus there for the summer, obviously because we're not here during the summer. But a lot of things happened over the summer that I want to talk to you about. And those things that we could have talked about, we didn't. I just wanted to bring up some of those that we've missed. Was JFK Jr.'s plane crash. That was a huge story. The shootings in L.A. and Atlanta, and now just last week in Fort Worth. We actually are going to address some of that coming up later on today's show. And George W. Bush and his alleged drug use, and this all part of this presidential campaign that's already been going on for eons, and it seems like the presidential election is still eons away, so this is like the longest presidential election ever. George W. Bush winning the Iowa caucus, but not by as much as they had expected. Obviously, the Iowa caucus not counting for anything official, but not winning by as much as expected there. Hillary Rodham Clinton probably running for Senate in New York. They bought a house up there. Bill Clinton offering clemency to some Puerto Ricans. That's been a big story recently. Congress is not happy with him doing that, but Clinton's claiming executive privilege. That's been up. But the big thing has been this presidential race that's been going on forever. Now, on the Democratic side, it seems they've been making fun of Al Gore as this stoic person the whole time, and that he shouldn't be the next president. Well, I don't know if he should be or not. I haven't made my decision yet. But just 2 days ago on Sunday afternoon, excuse me, I have a cold, I was watching CNN in the afternoon, and they had Steve Forbes on for an interview. Now, when Steve Forbes first entered the race, I sort of thought, yeah, is he really going to be that big of a contender? Well, it turns out he probably is going to be a really big contender because he has a lot of personal money that he's putting into the race, just as George W. Bush has already had a lot of money that's going into the race. And it was $36 million. That was some of the big news this summer. Well, Steve Forbes has his own personal money he's putting in the race. Well, I saw him on this interview, and anyone who's ever said that Al Gore was boring should have watched this interview. Steve Forbes did not move. His body stayed in one position. Very directed answers, not really being lively. I mean, I've seen Al Gore actually at least be a little bit entertaining when doing an interview, but I was just not that impressed with Steve Forbes. And as I said, when I first heard that he was going to be in the race, I kind of thought, oh, this isn't going to be that big of a deal. Well, it turns out that he's probably going to have a chance in the Republican race. We also have heard in the last few weeks that Pat Buchanan may be bolting from the Republican Party, going to the Reform Party to get their nod onto the ballot. So this presidential election, which I'm so tired of hearing about, but here I am talking about it, is going to go on forever, it seems, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about it more. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to introduce you to our newest anchor here at TV5. That coming up next on Feedback.
Immediate openings available for the most important jobs in America, helping the organizations that help children. Whatever you can do, in whatever time you have, you can make a difference. To learn how you can help in your community, reach us at this web address and number. We're fighting for the children. Whose side are you on?
You're getting so angry.
That's enough! Enough! I'm going to give you something to scream about. Get over here! Get up!
I can't.
I'm talking to you. Get up!
I can't.
Stop crying! You're asking for it again!
For information about how you can help stop domestic violence, call us.
friends don't let friends drive drunk.
More, the world can seem pretty big, but these kids are learning more about it every day. Because in his spare time, Harry Cooper teaches the children in his neighborhood how to use a computer. And every time he does, he puts the whole world in their hands. Couldn't you do something? No, it's not your money. It's you we want. Just come on, pick up that phone. A kid ahead.
And we're back. As you can tell, this is the first night back, but that's all right. One thing I wanted to also mention that I forgot to mention was that we are on earlier tonight. This is not our normal time slot. There's special programming here on TV5 tonight. There's a football game.
Yeah, it's the Clarion limestone game. We have beeps going on right now.
As I said, it's night one.
It truly is night one.
But what is it? It's a football game.
The Clarion limestone game, recorded from Friday night from Black Gold Video Productions.
Right.
They were courteous enough to send that to us. We will also be showing some highlights of that tonight on TV5. I'm sorry.
This is Mike Markewinski, our station manager, but wait, let me get to that in a second. But what I was saying was that we are normally on at 7:30. There's just a game tonight. Following the game at 9:30?
Yes, following the game at 9:30.
9:30, the news will be on, so you can catch that. Now let me introduce these people. It's chaos, and I love it. This guy you've seen before.
Yes, I was on your first show.
And we have him back. Mike Markewinski, our station manager.
Filling in for Christy.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to explain why you're here, but this is... Well, let's let you introduce yourself. Let's give you your big introduction here on TV5. We'll let you do it.
Okay, I'm Brian Cook. I'm 19 years old, and I'm a sophomore here at Clarion University, a freshman here at the TV station. I reside in Pittsburgh, and I'm really happy to be here.
All right, so you are a new Tuesday night anchor, so you'll be on tonight at 9:30. Christy DeZort will be anchoring with you, and you can all remember Christy from last year. Was not able to be here. She's still working upstairs on the script.
Yes, we're having some problems with the teleprompter.
So she's upstairs working. So...
Yes, I graciously agree. I mean, it was a last-minute thing.
He says he graciously. Like, I mean, I would be the one to say that, but he says he's... But no, we're glad to have you, I guess.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but so we don't need to... That's right. We don't need to go through your introduction. We did that last year. But let's go back to you, Brian. Why are you here? Why are you doing news here at TV5?
Well, actually, this is kind of funny because when I was younger, I was 2 years old, and I wanted to be an architect ever since I was 2. Okay, I wanted to build rides at Disney World. Okay, you know. But as I matriculated and got older, I wanted to be a news anchor. I went to Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh, and we had a closed-circuit television station, and everything was student-run, and I was one of the anchors for the year. And it was a lot of fun, and I enjoy writing, and I enjoy reading, and I enjoy public speaking. So it is a chance for me to get a chance to enhance my way of
practice all those
exactly
talents.
right.
Do you want to do this once you graduate? Do you want to be in television?
Yes. I would like to be an anchor in a big metropolitan area.
Ooh, tough.
Right,
That's
it is.
tough.
It is.
What do you want to do when you?
What do I want to do? I would love to be a news producer. I'm gaining my experience now, but I love news. I am a news junkie. You know the term. It's a term that we use here in the industry, but basically, I'd like to get into the news. I like the different aspects of whether it comes to doing a live shot or whether it's just in the writing or just putting the show together. Basically, I find it interesting, and that's why I love to be on the production end of it, as being the producer of the newscast. I'd love to end up in the 19th television market to start out with, then eventually move up to the first or second market. But I don't foresee that happening, so...
Like, no offense, but I also want to get into television, and just as a thought, to sort of play up what you guys thought, I don't think I'd ever want to work in that first market or second, Chicago or New York or L.A. Like you said you do, but would you want to work that high?
Well, yes, because they expect a lot from you, and if you have high expectations for yourself, then you know that you're able to do it.
But I'm just like, it's just so much work. That's actually, but you know what? I mean, anchors in that, when you get up that high, aren't doing as much. But still a lot of. I mean,
you have a lot of people behind the scenes to do the work for you. You just sit there and look pretty and read the copy.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily true in all markets. I think you have some that will and some who won't.
And
anyway.
I would say, and the classic example coming up is Scott Baker from WTAE in Pittsburgh. He is one anchor who I know writes his own copy.
Yeah, right.
And he focuses
not
on
the whole
that.
Copy, but
he does help to write a majority of the copy. Right. And that's one thing that he does, but a lot of your anchors down there do not write their own copy.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's, I mean, you're going to run, I think
Right.
in any job you're going to run into some things like that. But the news business, what a scary thing, isn't it?
It is. It truly is.
Do you want to do anything outside of news? Do you want to, would you ever think of branching off into a goofy program like this?
Well,
Kind of like Goofy?
well, yeah, well, it is pretty interesting to be a talk show host, but I'm also a musician also, so I was thinking about doing a minor in music, because what I do is I play jazz, and I do a little bit of jazz in Pittsburgh, so at some of the jazz clubs on the south side, so I have a lot of fun with music also.
Jeez, we're going to send a camera crew down there, extracurricular activities of our anchors. I like that.
That's a hint, isn't
I
it?
mean, is this, yeah, that's right, it is. Do you do this, I mean, is this a lot? Do you do this like every weekend, or?
No, well, when I was in high school, I did it pretty frequently, but now that I'm in college, I can't really go back as much during the school year, but during the summer, I sometimes play. As a matter of fact, couple summers ago, I did entertainment on the Gateway Clipper.
Oh.
So, I
For
had a
those
lot
of you
of fun
not
with that.
familiar from Pittsburgh, that's the big boat line that takes people around down there. I'll ask you guys, what did you do over the summer? Anything exciting besides play on the Gateway Clipper?
Well, actually, I did telemarketing.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're like people that I can't stand.
Right, that was me. We get a lot of rejections, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good experience. What I did is I did fundraisers for the firefighters. It's the Pennsylvania Professional Firefighters Association, and what we did is we promoted a show that's coming up in the fall. As a matter of fact, next month. And what we do is we send them the tickets on the honesty policy, and they send them back to us. So it was a lot of fun, and it was a good experience.
Did you get a good response from that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was good practice.
Well, see, I wouldn't be more apt to talk to someone like that than those Visa people or who would sell me credit cards or MasterCard or whatever.
Right.
But the local, I'll talk to them. And what about you?
Oh, I like this. What about you?
Well, what
make
did
me
you
seem
do
like-
over the summer?
Well, actually, I spent the summer doing some segment producing for a local cable station I work for in my hometown. We were at Steelers
Hometown
training
is
camp.
where?
Oh, the hometown is Charenham, but the station's in New Kensington. We're available to 40,000 plus homes. Operates on the cable system just like it does here in Clarion. But I did a lot of segment producing. We were at Steelers training camp. We were at the Mario Lemieux Celebrity Golf Invitational. We interviewed pirates. There were just different things that I produced as far as the segments went. And then I also was responsible for operating some different equipment machines down there and those things.
Alrighty, well, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and actually delve into the news. We're going to talk about some things going on, some things I actually mentioned in the opening of the show. That's coming up. We'll be back.
Late one night in
Every week for the past 4 years, Stephanie has read stories to a room full of Savannah, Georgia preschoolers. Every week, the look on the children's faces is priceless. The love that Stephanie feels from every child has made her life a whole lot brighter. Even though Stephanie has never even seen their faces. To see how you can help in your community, Cones of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something new.
On the big highway of life, one safe is for kids. Backseat, baby. The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out. Backseat, baby. Put that booties in the backseat now. Backseat, baby. Have that in kids you never meet. I'm here to remind you to put them behind you. Backseat, baby. Wow. Backseat, baby. To stay alive even when I drive.
I'm sure some of you feel funny talking with your parents about things you hear in the schoolyard, things about sex, drugs, alcohol. But if you talk with your parents, maybe you won't feel as odd or be as confused or frightened. Watching TV as a family can help get these tough conversations started. You can talk about what you've seen and what you've heard, how it makes you feel. Parents want to talk to you. Get things started today. Ask your parents to call for these free guides, Talking with Kids and TV as a Tool.
His father left home today.
I'll be there.
Forever.
Wait and see.
He'll be twice as likely to drop out of high school. 30% more likely to attempt suicide.
'Cause I love you.
Even if you don't live with your kids, your emotional and financial support gives them a better chance.
The best friend you ever had.
All right, and we're back. As I promised, we're going to delve into some things going on in the news. something I hit upon earlier, all these shootings that we've had, starting with Columbine, really, and actually all the school shootings that happened before that, but also the shooting in L.A., the shooting in Atlanta, and now this one in Fort Worth, Texas. My question to you guys is, why do we think this is happening? Is this something society maybe pressures, or it's just something that I can't really pinpoint it? I'm wondering, what do you think? Society?
We usually, a lot of people take it back to the home and the home training. Sometimes the way a person was raised can also have an effect on how they act while they're in school or while they're growing up. Sometimes it's been a proportion because it can also be an influence from their peers. So we really don't know exactly why that these people are doing these awful things. I mean, it's a great tragedy how, you know, there could be a math class, and all of a sudden there's a shooting in the hallway. We don't really understand it.
Scary.
I think part of it relies on the parents, because the parents are partially responsible for what's happening in their kids' lives. And I remember the one time we were talking about, and I can't remember where I was having the discussion, but we were focusing on the fact that parents today do not spend as much time with their kids as they used to. And an example was during the Columbine shooting. It was in my sociology class, as a matter of fact, I took over the summer, because that was something that really stuck to me, and I really wanted to learn about sociology. And we had discussed the fact that the parents really aren't noticing the cries anymore, that they're too busy with the work, and now that they have to bring in the money, but they don't have the time to focus on the kids. And the kids are the ones that are suffering, and in return, taking out the aggression from there, not knowing the difference between the right and wrong that the parents have taught us. You know, back in the late 70s, early 80s, your parents were at home with you. I'm not saying that the mothers have to be at home or the dads have to stay at home, but you were always given the attention.
I want to pick up on your point about the parents. I think the problem may be that, first of all, as you said, working parents aren't in the homes. A lot of kids may only have one parent, or something where they're not able, obviously, to be home. And even some kids don't have parents. They may be in a foster parent or something like that. So I'm wondering if it's how society has changed now to these different types of families. Because you know, both of you picked on something from the home. Could it be that the different home life that there is now, it's not the way it used to be?
Yeah, it is. And basically today we focus more on materialistic items. I mean, look at in Columbine, they were driving, what was it, Mercedes or BMW?
Well, I mean, it was a very affluent
but still,
community.
it was materialistic. And that's what they're giving a lot of their kids, are materialistic items. That's what you're getting.
Okay.
And they're using the materialistic items in place of love. You know, hey, Mom, can I have a brand new car? You know, I'll buy that for you, and then don't bug me for the next 6 weeks.
That's a really good point. I like
Television also has an effect on the way some children act, because cartoons and different television shows are sometimes attacking the younger children, and in a sense it is like materialistic items, sometimes like guns and cars, and you're not the best unless you have the best type of car, or unless you have a lot of money. So a lot of people also do different things also for attention, you know, because if you said, like, you know, I want to stress on your point about how the parents work. Sometimes there are two parents in the home, but both parents work, and they don't have enough attention, and then they feel like they have to do something like that to get attention.
Well, maybe looking back, like you say, TV, I know I've watched old TV shows, and like on I Love Lucy, oh, it's a new hat, and it was like they were so, like if Lucy got a new hat, everyone was like, oh, Lucy got a new hat, like, and they got a new car. Isn't that being materialistic? Do you think with more television now, though, everywhere you go, you're hearing about, oh, well, they got this, and on soap operas, on sitcoms, on anything?
I'd say no, because television today is pure materialistic. Back then, that was the in thing. You know, the Jones down the street got the car. Dad, can we get a car similar to that? Now it's not like that, because everybody's competing with each other. It's not, you know, the Jones down the street got it. Now it's, you know, I have this, well, Joe has this, and we got to top this, and this. And it's just getting to the point where it's, you know, they're just using the materialistic items to compensate and to, you know, just
to keep up with each other.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think that's very similar to the Joneses down the street. They're always trying to keep up with each other.
But back then you had a simpler life too. I mean, you weren't. I mean, basically,
right.
It wasn't brought out in the open, the economic hard issues or the.
That is true.
And today it is.
Yeah.
Now you're hearing about constant poverty levels and those types of things.
Well, you sort of attack TV. Like, let me attack magazines. There was something in the paper the other day. This man was a father, and he was writing about the teen culture and how strange he thought it was. He was saying there was an article, just some of the names of the articles in YM. One was 8 Ways to Tell If You're Really Ready. Just a lot of things like that, very open about sex in these magazines that are really geared. One of them's named 17, so obviously it's geared for these high school students.
Right.
Is that really affecting? Do you think it's those things, or do you think it's society and then those magazines just picked up on it?
Well, you know, society has changed over the years, but going to the magazines, a long time ago, they were more censored. But now they're more open with sex and with violence and, you know, different aspects of everything that young children really shouldn't be picking up on. So magazines also has a big effect, similar to television and also to radio.
That's an interesting point. Now, why do you think society is changed like that? Is it more openness? Are we interpreting the First Amendment too widely now that we're letting so many things get out there? Is this, I mean, because isn't there a good side to it as well?
I think that there is. I mean, being open now has allowed, you know, the AIDS virus to come out, and, you know, teaching teenagers to practice safety, and, you know, maybe, I'm not exactly sure, I don't have all the statistics in front of me, maybe pregnancies have gone down a tad from in the past. I know I'm sure they're on the increase as well, but basically presenting the information to kids today helps to enhance their learning knowledge and maybe say, hey, you know, I'm not ready for this. And that 8 ways that you mentioned there, for a female, you know, she may only comply with 5 and say, you know what, I'm not ready for these last 3, I'm not going to jump ahead and do it. And I think that we're preparing youngsters today, I mean, we're all about in the 20, 25-year range, that, you know, it's preparing us for what the real world is like. I mean, we have difficult decisions to make out here.
Yeah, it's just like it's educational, because it seems like you have to approach the younger generation a different way than what you had to a long time ago. Because when you talk to them in a certain way, you have to be more forceful, because you can't be lenient compared to the way our parents grew up.
What about, speaking of parents, I'm just going to hit on this. A lot of parents from this generation are baby boomers. Now, with their way of life, has that, you know, in the 60s you always hear, you know, peace, and they would all smoke, or, you know, whatever. It's not looked upon as this very positive time. Is that coming back and affecting their offspring?
I really don't think so.
Because if you blame the parents before, you're saying it's the parents' fault. Is it because they were baby boomers?
I don't know if it's so much baby boomers. I think it's just the way our society has changed. I mean, what they did back in the 60s helped to bring a change to society. And that change, whether, you know, from my opinion, it was for the better, in some it could be for the worse.
Right.
You know, I'm not a Republican standing right there and saying Woodstock was bad and this and those types of things, even though they probably partaked in it, the Republicans. But they're focusing on how in the past, you know, it was better, the economic values was better, just the whole home life was better, society was better, and now they're saying it's not as great. But, you know, it's helped to make people better, learn more. We know more now. We're much more free to talk about different subjects. Then it's not taboo. And television is one thing that's changing the entire medium. I mean, nowadays you're using words that have not been on before. You've seen certain situations you wouldn't see before. And the classic example would be a woman getting raped or somebody getting raped. I mean, it's an extreme, but it shows the emotions that they go through and the treatment that they go through. And that helps to prepare, you know, somebody's friend if that was to happen to them.
Right. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. When you do approach them in a different way, back in the 60s, when you talked about a certain issue, say or even in the 50s, you talked about a certain issue similar to sex, it was like, oh, you know, and it was very sheltered. So now we're more open, so it's more effective.
All right, you know, as I said last time, I will quote it exactly as last time, always abridged here.
Yes.
We're running out of time, but good luck on the news tonight. You're at 9:30 with Christy, so everyone can stay tuned for that. And
I'll be running around.
You're
upstairs.
Behind the camera.
Yes,
so
I guess I will be producing the newscast tonight that you'll see.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us.
Pleasure.
And we will be right back after this.
Programs like mentoring, job training, counseling, along with after-school activities are keeping them away from kids. Look around. Kids off the program are kids' trouble. It takes you and programs that work. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT and we'll send you a free booklet. Call now and help take a bite out of crime.
Where have the children gone? Long time passing. Where have all the children gone? No time ago. Where have all the children gone to graveyards by one? Oh, when will we ever?
Here's my nephew's crop.
Bobo, where's your video game? In here. Well, look at this. Uh-oh. It's my dad's. I want to hold it. What'll I do?
If you get my new comic activity book, More Adventures with Scruff, you'll find out what you can do about bullies. You'll see lots of games.
Cool.
McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652. It helped take a bite out of crime.
I want it. I want it.
It's my birthday. Oh, it's so pretty. Ho, ho. I told you, don't be bringing that weak stuff in here. Yeah. Who's the man? Who's the man?
Exercised lately?
All right, I'm back. I couldn't get rid of him. He switched spots. He forgot something and he wanted to plug, so go ahead and plug away.
In fact, beginning September 30th at 5 p.m. until Friday, October 1st at 5 p.m., it is the Food Stock 99, part of the 46th Annual National City Bank Autumn Leaf Festival. And primarily what's going to be happening is that you can make your donation. They're trying to get into the Guinness Book of World Records for most food donations. And it is a worthwhile cause. TV5 and WCUC 91.7 FM, our sister station, are teaming up for this worthwhile event. If you're interested, there are several businesses throughout the Clarion area which you can drop off your canned good donation. Basically, you go in, drop off your canned good item, sign your name, your phone number, and the number of items that you brought, or you can make your donation during the 24-hour period, which I know the goal has not exactly been set yet, but I know it's probably in the million range or up from there. But you can keep it tuned to 91.7 WCUC all night Thursday into Friday for updates on the totals, because the goal I know has not been set. They're looking into that right now on the world record. Apparently it's in a box in London, and they're putting all their computer files.
Oh.
They're updating the files and putting them into the computer, and they're still looking through, and they're not exactly sure of the goal. We should have that for you next week, and you can keep it on 91.7 WCUC. Mark?
Okay, good. Now you can get out of here. Thank you to you and to Brian Cook for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow with Dave Marsh and Christy Herman, our Wednesday night anchor team. Thanks. See ya.